Yesterday was, let's just say it was pretty ugly. But hey, we're here to talk about it today. We're going to look through three different ways of when I look back at yesterday, how that loss looks 100 times worse just the day after. 16-18 was your final score. This Ravens team lost a game in which they fumbled twice inside their own 30, missed 2 field goals. They still only lost by 2 points. Honestly, pretty impressive. Welcome into Ravens Rundown, everybody. I am your host, Joey Petersen. And even though you lost yesterday, I have had an absolute blast covering this Ravens team all season long. There has been 4,956 people that have joined me on this journey. We are 44 away to 5,000 just since the start of this season. So let's get us to 5K. Let's reach that milestone. We need you to do so. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Alrighty, let's look at how this happened. Because how do you lose a game this poorly? How do you make some of those mistakes as poorly as you do? Well, the first thing I want to look at is the 2-point confusion. And you might see that and you're saying, Joey, you spelled conversion wrong. No, I know what I said. I know what I typed. And I know what I wrote. That is 2-point confusion, all right? And I want to preface this. I don't think coaching is why the Ravens lost this game. Okay. Now, do I wish Derrick Henry would have got more carries? Yes. Do I think this 2-point play should have been a little bit different? Yes. But you fumbled the ball inside the 30-yard line 2 times. You missed 2 field goals. John Harbaugh didn't miss those field goals, did he? No, he didn't. So let's look at this 2-point conversion. And my first question I'm going to ask you guys is, what do you notice in this play? Okay. Think about it. Look deeply, take a screenshot if you need to, zoom in if you have to. But what do you notice in this formation before the ball is even snapped? I'll tell you what I notice. I notice a backfield that doesn't have Derrick Henry in it. I notice wide receiver that doesn't have a number 7 or a number 4 on it. So in this play, where you knew 2 yards to win, you don't have your 6'3", 250-pound running back in, and you don't have your 2 best receivers in either. Like, what? No words. No words. You don't have the biggest battering ram of a running back in when you need 2 yards. You need 6 feet, and you don't have Derrick Henry in that formation. Blows my mind. So I got a question for you. Should Derrick Henry have been on the final play? If you think yes, give me a Y. If you think no, if you like Justice Hill being out there, then give me an N. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. You're about to get hit with a YouTube ad break. So when that time comes, take advantage of it. Scroll down the comment section, find the pinned comment, and give me a yes or a no. So not only did I hate the fact that Derrick Henry, Rashad Bateman, and Zay Flowers are all watching that play develop from the sideline, but there were some major miscommunications. We're going to go through 3 pictures right here. You can see Nelson Agholor tapping Isaiah Likely, trying to get his attention. Isaiah Likely then turns to him and almost like bats him away, like just a gnat, like, get out of here, right? And you can see even this next picture, right? He's motioning, like, get out of here. What is the miscommunication here? What is Agholor trying to say to Likely? Because when this play goes out, both of them block. And to me, in my opinion, we'll get into this a little bit, but I think one of them probably should have been running a route there. And again, I don't blame the loss on the coaching and the play calling. But when you are setting up for 2 yards or you lose the game, overtime or you lose the game, and you're coming out of a freaking timeout, and there are still a wide receiver and a tight end talking to each other at the line of scrimmage, trying to motion each other, get each other's attention. Like, you can see Agholor's trying to tell Likely something. Likely doesn't want to hear any of it. Then they snap the ball, and it was the worst play from scrimmage all year long. And that's coming out of a timeout. That is coaching. That is unacceptable. I cannot believe that. And then the third thing I want to look at with this 2-point conversion is Lamar's looking to the end zone. That's why I think there was such big miscommunication on this play. You can see his vision. He's looking for somebody to throw to. He thinks there's going to be somebody there to throw to. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, Joey, didn't you hear what he had to say in the post-game press conference? Yes, I heard he had to say what he had to say in the post-game press conference. He hit the reporters with this, right? They asked him about the two-point conversion, and he said, it was a quarterback run. They just stopped him. They just stopped it. They did a good job. I don't believe him. I don't. I think Lamar is such a good leader of men, such a good leader of this roster, that I think he's kind of just saying, you know what, that's on me, right? It was supposed to be a quarterback run. I was looking to the end zone just for no reason, guys, just because I wanted to see if there was anybody partying back there and I wanted to go join them. I don't think that was a quarterback run. I think coming out of the timeout, first off, you put a formation out there without your starting running back and your two best receivers. And you also had two guys who were absolutely so confused on what to do. Both of them blocked. Isaiah Likely was teaming up with Ronnie Stanley and blocking the defensive end when I think he should have been in the second level and blocking a safety or corner. And it was just a whole pile of dog crap, okay? And there's no better way I can say it. And speaking of that, I got to give a big shout out to the sponsor of today's video, my best segue, without a doubt, because the sponsor is Ollie. Ollie is the best place to go for the healthiest and most nutritious food out there. Right now, Ollie is offering a fantastic deal to let your pup taste test a personalized meal plan. Get 60% off your first box of meals when you use promo code ChatSports at Ollie.com. And 5 flavors they'll absolutely love. You don't have to be a vet to know that feeding your dog real whole foods with minimal processing is one of the best choices you can make for their health. A perfectly portioned whole fresh food diet has been proven to extend your pup's life by 2.5 years, and who doesn't want more time with their best friend? With no harmful fillers and no preservatives, Ollie is made in U.S. kitchens with ingredients carefully sourced from trusted growers and producers around the world. Guys, my wife and I, we are still very young, and so we don't have any children because we like just balling with our dog Applesauce. Who needs kids when you have a golden doodle that's as precious as that? And that's why we love Ollie so much, because we like to make sure we're eating healthy food. Why wouldn't we want to make sure that our daughter, Applesauce, is eating as healthy a food as we are, okay? That's the best thing about Ollie. It's clean, it's fresh, it's made in U.S. kitchens, right? There's no harmful fillers or preservatives in it, so that's why we feed it to our dog. So head to Ollie.com, tell them all about your dog. Use Chat Sports, and you'll get 60% off your first box of meals when you subscribe today. Head to OLLIE.com and enter code ChatSports to get 60% off your first box. They offer a clean bowl guarantee on their first box, so if you're not completely satisfied, you can get your money back. And you know, the other reason I look to when I say, okay, how did this happen? How do you lose a game that poorly? Penalties. When you are penalized as much as this team was against Pittsburgh, you're going to lose almost every game you play. I don't care if you're the 2007 Patriots against the 2015 Cleveland Browns, you're going to lose. 12 penalties for 80 net yards. And did you know, it gets worse, I promise you, that the Ravens average 8.4 penalties a game in 2024. That's last in the NFL. And if the season ended today, they would be top 30 for an NFL season of all time. Ever. Top 30. Do you know how long they've been playing football? Do you know how many teams there are? That means how many individual seasons there have been. And you, if the season ended right now, would be a top 30 penalized team in the history of football. Let that sink in. And it starts to make sense of why you're losing these games when you just look at penalties by losses. Okay, against Kansas City, you had 7 for 64 yards. Against Las Vegas, you had 11 for 109. Against the Browns, 7 for 53. And against the Steelers, 12 for 80. You're averaging in those 4 losses 9.25 penalties a game for 76.5 yards a game. You're not going to win football games in the National Football League if you're getting penalized 9 times a game. You're sure as hell not going to win any games in the National Football League if you're getting penalized 12 times a game like you just did yesterday, okay? So this needs to change. But this is what I want to hear from you guys, okay? I want you to rant for me in the comment section down below. How do the Ravens fix this, okay? Because we can complain about it all I want to, but how do you think John Harbaugh and this front office and this team, how do they fix this? You let me know in the comment section down below. And then the third thing I got to point to is just Justin Tucker. Yikes. There's no better way to say it. And I talked about this a little bit in yesterday's video in my post-game instant reaction. And before I dive any deeper into it, I want to say this, okay? Justin Tucker is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Outside of Ed Reed and Ray Lewis and a few other Ravens legends, there might not be a person who's done more for this franchise than Justin Tucker has. But it's obvious that he's hurting this team now. We can't just say, oh, don't talk crap about him. Do you know how good he's been for this team in years past? But he sucks now, okay? That's like the San Francisco 49ers trying to trot out Joe Montana, and then when he throws 5 picks, you say, do you know how many Super Bowls he won for the Niners? Well, he's old now, okay? And I know that's a dramatic example, but if you look at his field goal percentage this year, 72%. And when you look at his field goal percentage of 50 or more yards, 43%. And if you compare those to the rest of the NFL, he ranks 5th worst among kickers with 15 attempts just for his field goal percentage. And for his field goal percentage of over 50 yarders, he is 3rd worst among kickers with at least 4 attempts. So he is having a horrible season. He is doing things not just that are unlike him, but it's unlike anybody else in the NFL. And it's one thing if he's just having a bad season, you're like, oh man, like he'll snap out of it. But he's actively losing you games. If you go by every single loss this year, he went 2 for 3 in the game against Kansas City. That game was 27-20 with the final play, okay? 27-20. Now, I know it might not change that much when you're just talking about, okay, look, you're still down 7, and even if you made a field goal, that doesn't change much. However, I don't know. You might go for 2 at a different time. You could make a field goal to maybe tie it. And then let's look at Las Vegas. He went 3 for 4. He missed one. It's 26-23, and the ball is at the Baltimore 41 with still ample amount of time left. You could have kicked a field goal to tie it. Instead, you needed a touchdown, right? You needed a touchdown. And then the Cleveland game, he went 1 for 2, 29-24. You needed a touchdown to win that one as well because he missed a field goal. You couldn't just kick a field goal to win it. And then the Pittsburgh game, I don't even need to talk about this one. He goes 1 for 3. You only lose by 2. So he just makes one of those. It's okay, okay? But also, I'm gonna acknowledge this is a slippery slope. And someone said this in the comment section the other day, and I couldn't agree more. I gave the example yesterday of Washington's kicking situation. Austin Seibert had been great. He got hurt. They brought in Zane Gonzalez off the freaking streets, and he's gone 3 for 3, making a 49 and a 48-yarder so far this year. But that's the best case scenario. Worst case scenario is you say, okay, Justin, we're going to bring somebody in, and then they go 0 for 3. You're shooting his confidence anyway because you're bringing somebody in to replace him. And then the new guy you bring in sucks, and so it's just like, boom. Special teams this year, it's done for. So it's a really tough call to make. But I'm going to ask you, what would you do in this situation, okay? Would you bench Justin Tucker? If you think yes, give me an HY for hell yes. And if you think no, give me an HN. Okay, my final thoughts. Everything's going to be fine, okay? Everything is going to be A-okay. You lost on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers team that is pretty good this year, as much as I hate to admit it. And you fumbled the ball twice inside your own 30, and you missed 2 kicks. And you still lost the game by only 2 points. You're going to be okay. The world isn't ending. Our pets' heads aren't falling off, as they say in Dumb and Dumber. Everything's going to be fine, all right? Do I wish they would have won yesterday's game? Yes. Should they have won yesterday's game? Yes. But I think the good fact of the matter is I still don't think a team has beaten you. Maybe Kansas City in the first game of the year. But your last 3 losses, I think you've beaten yourself. And I think you can overcome that, all righty? Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. If you're still here, obviously you liked the video, so hit that subscribe button.